Hello and welcome to the Fish Nerds, a show about fish, fishing, and eating fish. I'm Clay Groves, your host, Chief Executive Fish Nerd, licensed fishing guide, friend to fish. And it is November 18th, National Podcast Posting Month. As you know, we are doing a show, unless you're new to the show, we are doing a brand new episode every single month this day. Every single day this month. It's wearing my mouth down. My mouth cannot make more words. I might die of podcasting if that's a thing. I hope you're enjoying it. And we're going to just jump right in with our special guest today because we've got a very, very big guest on, one of my podcasting mentors, and I'll just jump right into the show. All right, we're super happy because Dave Jackson, the Dave Jackson, Hall of Fame podcaster, came on my show, my little fish nerd show. Dave Jackson, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, it's so cool. And we have a little history. We've known each other now 4 years, 3 years.
Something like that.
Yeah, I met you at a podcast conference in New Jersey with Super Joe Pardo. And then I saw you, 2 summers ago, get inducted into the Podcaster Hall of Fame.
That was fun.
And for the listeners who are, I have a lot of our listeners are actually podcasters, Dave, which is great. You make the School of Podcasting, which is the podcast I listen to every single Monday. First thing to remember that I need to make a podcast this week. And a lot of what I do comes out of what you say. I don't always agree with you, but it helps me motivate myself. Yeah, I know. Once in a while, I'm like, no, not quite. But
yeah.
But I love your show. So Dave Jackson, how are you?
Oh, dude, I'm so happy to be here and talk some fish.
I know we're going to talk fish, and you've been on the Fish Nerds before. I made you record in New Jersey that time. I think I was drinking. I can't recall what we.
There might have been
about.
some beverages involved. Yes, maybe.
Yeah. So your podcast, you make several. You're doing School of Podcasting, which is your pilot show, your premiere show. The big one.
I do that. I do one on Saturday called Ask the Podcast Coach. It's done in front of a live studio audience or a live chat room in this case. And
right, with ones of listeners.
Yes, exactly.
and you make Building a Better Dave.
Yeah, Building a Better Dave is the podcast. It's every other show had like a topic. Like I did a weight loss show. I used to do a show about designing websites. But Building a Better Dave is just, hey, I want to talk about anything and maybe be a little goofy, a little fun, little risque at times. So that's the one I can just riff on anything I want, and it's very weird. And in generally, I just tell people it's not a very good podcast unless you're looking for something to go, well, that's 7 minutes of my life I can't get back.
Well, welcome to the Fish Nerds. That's what we give. we will deliver that tonight. But we are doing National Podcast Posting Month, and I got to be honest. I heard Jennifer, the founder of Napod Pomo, on your show. And that motivated me to make the Napod Pomo all month for November. And it actually is, I'm feeling resentful to you now. Now we're middle of the month, and I'm thinking,
you're hating my guts.
Damn it, Dave. If you just never mentioned it, I'd have been happy making 2 shows a month. But now I'm 14 days in, 14 episodes out. Actually, this is probably 19 or 20 because I've got some in the bank. And I'm hating it. It's awful.
You're like, what is it December yet? Dang it.
I know. I'm gonna hibernate for the month of December. But the cool thing is people are enjoying it. They're calling into the show. They're leaving us voicemails and they're checking it out. So you brought us some news. We're going to riff on the news today. So why don't you tell us about your news?
News, fish in the news. Everybody loves their fish in the news.
Yeah, because I'm into listening to stuff and sound in general and soundscaping, I found a bit of news, and that is the fact that the world's loudest fish it's a victim of its own unique talent.
Yep.
And it turns out that each year, apparently 1 million Gulf Corvina. Mm-hmm. I've never met a Gulf Corvina, but apparently they're easy to find because they're loud.
There's a million of them.
And they swim to the spawning grounds, which as soon as you hear spawning grounds, you're like, of course that's why it's loud. All right. And this is along the Colorado River Delta, and they're famous apparently. For if you talk to any, did you know, when you think loud fish, do you think, oh, that's got to be the Gulf Corvina? Or?
Well, it's funny when you first you hit me with this headline when you were before the show recorded, and the first thing I said to you is, "Loud fish, Gotta be sex.
That's it.
And you're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they are. But no, these are fish are super, like people don't think about fish as being noisy.
Right.
Because you don't hear them all the time because you're on the wrong side of the water.
Right.
But if you were under there with them, they are incredibly vocal. Lots of fish are.
I guess they make chattering sounds. And when you get like a massive conglomeration, again, we're talking like over 1 million of these fish come together and they're chattering and doing whatever they're doing. They say the noise they produce is deafening. And they go, actually, literally, it's deafening. New research shows that the sounds produced by these fish when spawning are the loudest ever recorded. So congratulations to the Gulf Corvina, ever recorded for a single fish, an extraordinary display of nature's, that's just how it's turned into the species, and it's made it super loud now.
Yeah,
and,
well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Dave. I'm going to actually, I'm going to play the Gulf Cordiva. So what do you think of that?
That's excellent. All we need is like some Jimi Hendrix wah-wah pedal in the back of that. Like, wow.
I know, a little Barry White. Oh, baby.
That's it.
Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, but good on these fish. I mean, like, you think about, like, loud sex, and you don't think about animals, really. You think about, that famous scene in Porky's back in the 80s where that woman screams to the whole building. You think about humans, but you don't think about fish. And the great thing about fish, Dave, is there's no such thing as a fish. This is actually a podcast called that, but there actually is no such thing as a fish. There's no animal, nothing special about fish. Fish have traits that every other animal on Earth share. And so if a human does a thing, the fish probably has something in common with it. So loud sex like people, it's a fish trait.
Wow.
Yeah.
I usually just scream Yahtzee.
Yahtzee. Is that why you're single?
Like, Yahtzee.
Yahtzee, and you're divorced.
But here's the thing. The researchers estimated that the noise produced by a single fish from a standard difference of about 1 meter away using 3 different measurements, because one was just not enough apparently. The highest measurement was 190 decibels. That's loud, my friend. That's
super. Now, if that was a podcast, how many luffs is that?
I don't know.
No. Well, the ones you heard on this show was minus 16, just so for you audio nerds.
That's right, keeping up.
I don't know what that means either. No.
And I don't know if these are good eating fish. They're just, if you need a loud fish, just think, the Gulf Corvina.
The Gulf Corvina. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I would love to like be present for this and to hear it happening. And I try to imagine just the first time you hear something like this, trying to figure out where that sound's coming from. Like how you're at a dark, dark beach, middle of the night.
Right. Yeah, and all of a sudden you hear all this weird, loud chattering. And you're like, that would be kind of freaky, wouldn't it?
It'd be super freaky and kind of awesome.
Yeah.
If you like freaky.
Yeah. That would be, especially if you weren't aware. Because I know just out being in the woods or whatever, you're always waiting for the next stick or twig that breaks. You're waiting for something to jump out and, Bigfoot yells Yahtzee at you. You're going to
Yahtzee!
Yeah. So
imagine. I hate that you gave me the idea of yelling Yahtzee because
your wife is going to call me in about a week and go, "What did you do to my husband?
How dare you? You ruined everything." Way to go, the Dave Jackson. Well, that's some excellent news, Dave. I think I'll put a link up in our show notes of that story, and people can read the rest of it. But this is all we're doing for an APOD promo, where it's a short little bit of news, and we're done.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. It was always fun to hang out with Clay Groves. You're never going to go home without a smile on your face if you've been talking to Clay Groves.
Oh, that's awfully nice. Now, where can people find the best place? Because you're all over the place, but what's the best place to find Dave Jackson?
Schoolofpodcasting.com.
Right. And if you're looking to make a podcast and you don't know where to start, Dave can get you going. He does consulting and teaching and all kinds of stuff, and you can get right in there and and he can help you. He can help you stop making mistakes that I've made for that last 6 years. He can save you 6 years of error if you just give him your money.
That's it.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, sir.